I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call the town board meeting to order. Motion to pay the bills.
I'll make the motion to pay the bill.
You make the motion?
I've looked them over. Are we gonna have a discussion period afterwards?
So motion by John.
I'll second that.
Second by Mike. Any discussion?
Yeah, I just had a couple bills. One of them was just a curiosity, I guess. Is I wish that if Jay was here tonight. Had quite a bit. Purchased quite a bit of crusher on it, and like 4 loads. They're small loads, and that kind of brings up the other question. These loads are like 3 tons, right around 3 tons each one. There's 12 of them. It's unfortunate. I know what they're doing. They're using the small truck to go get it and stuff. Unfortunately, the highway department didn't provide a dump truck that could do it on one load. But anyway, I'm just kind of curious what they used all this crusher run for. Just a curiosity. The other one is we got a bill from Dr. Environmental, and it's for $3,374.18. And it's a bunch of different things: paint, secondary containment, pop-up gauge, a clock gauge, and decals. But what's, and on the surface that seems okay, but then on the top, Mr. Tibbles has written per violations by the DEC. I was unaware we got cited by the DEC at all. It'd be nice to see what that was.
Yeah, I'm unaware of us being cited by the DEC, so we'll ask. We'll hold that bill out, and I'll ask Mr. Tibbles if he's listening. He can call me in and tell me. We can clarify it now.
Okay.
If he's not, then I'll wait till he gets a hold of me. We'll hold that bill out for.
Yeah, well, and kind of a larger issue, as the town supervisor, I think it'd be really good for you to know if the DEC is citing us for anything.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay, so that's the discussion. Motion to pay all those bills except for the Dr. bill.
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. Motion to approve the town board meeting minutes. I think everybody's got those in front of them. Anybody look?
I just looked them over. Even though I wasn't here last month, I watched the recording, and everything seemed to be there and be fine.
Okay. A motion by Sandy.
Yep.
Need a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Mike. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. So remind me at 6:15 we have the cannabis hearing. Until then, we'll move through the agenda a little bit, and the first item I had, well, let's do the privilege of the floor. Anybody from the public like to speak? Okay. Then I'll move to the town engineer report for Mr. Camper.
Thank you. First, I do apologize. I have to leave early tonight after my report, so for a family function. But Route 12 sewer. Brian and I met with a couple of the last questions on easements. We met with the Krings and also Al Presti a week ago, and I think the Krings are all set. Al, we're working out some changes to the plans of where he wants the sewer lines run, so I think we're finally getting through the easements on Route 12 sewer. The only other issue is, other than changing the plans to accommodate both the Leprestis and the Krings, we have a little work to do to satisfy the DOT permit. We got to do some borings where we're going to punch under the road and things like that. So I think we're getting close to being able to, to wrap it up so we can go to bid. The Route 12 water, Swan Bay Mobile Home Park or Leprestis, they also have plans that they're working on to add over 80 units up towards Route 12 that will require a change to the water district boundary, as well. So, I think that's in the works. We'll have to talk about that. He's gonna put all the infrastructure in himself, but he understands he has to pay full EDU cost, and plus the hookup fee that's in the ordinance. So we did cover that with him as well. I don't know if you have any questions on it, either of those items. We still have to kind of nail down the Route 12 sewer boundaries. Mike, you and I, we're gonna have to start that process. I'd like to start that in
I think we kinda did that on the plan that you provided us with.
Okay, so if you can get that to me, then we can redraw things and we can go through that process. I see that Laird Petrie, you have a meeting with him. I don't know if he's gonna be able to give you any guidance from the comptroller's office on benefit assessment charges, and all those should be woven into the district coordination document, but I'm not sure if he's the guy or not, but I noticed he was on the agenda.
Yeah, he called us. I had actually registered for a seminar with the Tug Hill Commission for budget processes, and that he's gonna give the seminar. And so with my registration to the seminar, I put a note there that it'd be nice to have something up in the northern part of the county, because we have to travel to Fort Lyden to go to this seminar. So I volunteered to offer the town of Alexandria building and a few things, and they passed it on to Laird. Laird called me and told me he would like to do something, and then, so Laird's retired, so he has no connection to the agency, okay? And he's gonna be doing some consulting. So one of the things I've got on the agenda is for us to decide if we would like to have him come here, to help to consult with us, over the budget. And he's just a unbelievable wealth of knowledge.
Yeah, and he's a great resource on these district assessment items as well. He could be. I don't know if you've worked with him before, but he knows a lot about how the comptroller's office works, because he was there for 40 years, basically.
So what I said to him was, I said, I think that, you know, the board will want him to come here to go over these budget things with him, and I know that we have a lot of questions for him in different areas. One of the things that we've always talked about for a couple of years now is different tax rates inside the village and outside the village. And Ronnie has looked into that a lot and had some people talk to him about it. So there's a lot of different subjects that it'll be great to ask him questions on. So I'll make sure you know when.
Yeah, if you let me know, I'd be happy to participate.
Yeah. We're talking sometime, he's doing this seminar down there October 5th, so we're talking sometime in that next week in October.
Yeah, the sooner the better as it relates to our district, our benefit assessment charges, I think.
Yeah. And the only other thing I had is I spoke to you a few times about the Swan Bay deal, and I think that, you know, we talked about this before. We'd like you to proceed on applying for a permit to put a culvert through, a flow through on Swan Bay.
Yeah.
I have a tremendous amount of taxpayers that have been asking me for a year and a half about doing that. And my last answer to them, I think I forwarded to you, and we'd like to proceed with that permit application.
The way, just so everybody understands where that was left a few years ago, is we did meet with the DEC, and we talked about, you know, what we had to do to open up the alleged culvert that once was under the driveway into Swan Bay Road. And we couldn't find any real evidence other than on one map it showed a bridge, okay? But we never found any evidence to a culvert or anything under there. And the DEC wrote us quite a lengthy letter with numerous concerns, including what it would do to sediment transport downstream in Point Vivian and things like that. Valid questions, I think. But I think it's worth probably saying this, and this has come to the forefront again.
Yeah.
How can we, you know, how should we proceed? So I can set that up. There's been a lot of changes at the DEC. We dealt with Tom Lawson permitting back then, if you remember. He's since retired, so there's a whole new slew of people at the DEC we'd have to bring up to speed. But I can make that call.
Okay. So we'd like to keep going on that. And the other thing I'd like you to do is the issue of the Route 37 collapsing road has come up again. So I think we need to at least send a letter again to the state, talking about, I don't think you ever got a reply when you sent them the video that we took under the road, did you?
No.
No, so.
I made several phone calls.
We paid how many $1,000s to have that pipe, the camera go through that pipe and show that there was issues with that pipe.
Right name?
Steve. The regional director you're talking about?
The regional director.
Yeah,
He was there, now he's gone.
he's gone.
Who's our regional director now?
Oh, God, I know, I can't think of his name, but it is really right there.
So I think it's probably time to say, listen, to write a letter to him and say, these things were never addressed.
Yeah, I was over there a couple, 3 weeks ago, and ended up, talking something out with, Nate Frost, and he kinda reminded me, and this is one of those summers, water level's low, but it doesn't change the fact that that's a problem, it needs to get addressed. We can't, we keep just pushing it down the road.
Yeah. So if you put that on your
Yep.
list to send them a letter, or put a letter together and send it to me, and I'll send it to them.
Okay.
Because it definitely needs to be addressed, nothing's been done, I think we've been dealing with this thing for 5 years. I mean, Mike and I went to the state office building on this, remember?
Oh, yeah.
And we went from one floor to the next floor after they told us to go to see different people.
Yeah, but
And we actually thought we were getting somewhere.
Well, I've talked to my former colleagues as well, and it's just not on their radar, and that's an unfortunate thing. But it's Ken Bibbins.
Ken Bivens is the new, yep.
What's kinda interesting, he was a junior engineer for me. Now he's a regional director, good for him, but.
He was from Lowville, right?
Yes,
Originally?
yeah, the Loudville guy. But unless you get on their radar, they got lots of things that are very, that they're dealing with, which, in their eyes anyways, is more important than that, which is probably legit, but it's important to us.
Yeah.
So you got a public hearing here in just a few.
Okay, at
Okay, well, that's
6:15.
really all I have, so.
Okay, so that was the three items, the two that I talked about, is the Swan Bay and the Route 37.
Well, I was saying, we're gonna solicit quotes for some improvements at the Redwood sewer plant, change of the UV, fixing the dosing chambers, and I'll be getting quotes for your October meeting for some of those items that will be covered by the $125,000 grant.
We got a $125,000 SAM grant, and we've come up with $123,000 estimated expenses for repairs and replace equipment and everything that he's gonna get quotes on. Okay? So at this point, we'll open the public hearing, for the cannabis. Anybody have any comments? I have a letter to read here, I guess I'll do that first. Russell and Lorraine Schroff, 27 High Street, Alexandria Bay. Dear board members, town board members, please accept this letter for cannabis law public discussion period, as we have scheduled conflict on this date. As you well know, New York State cannabis law contains a provision that the municipality must actively opt out of retail sales by enacting a local law stating such by deadline of December 31st, 2021. Failure to do so may automatically mandates the municipality is included in the retail sales section of the law. New York lawmakers do not have definitive regulations or restrictions regarding retail sales. In addition, state and local law enforcement have no guidelines or tools to measure, monitor, or enforce sales, use, and abuse. Courts have been given vague directives regarding cannabis in essence. Albany has told municipalities that lawmakers will begin making the rules after we are already committed. Does this sound right? We are asked to commit to a set of laws without any idea of what they will be. If Alexandria Township opts out of this law and we find that the retail sales are a great benefit to the economy and quality of life of other towns, we can at a later date choose to be included and opt in. However, if we choose to participate in retail cannabis turns out to be an uncontrolled cancer, we are stuck. We cannot opt out. Lorraine and I ask you not to be swayed by vague promises of revenue from Albany. We urge you to err on the side of caution and enact a local law opting out of cannabis retail. Your consideration is greatly appreciated. Thank you, Russ and Lorraine. That's the one letter I have. Any public comments? Anybody from the public like to speak? My thoughts are that we we close the public hearing, and that we don't have to do this tonight. We can wait till the next meeting to pass a resolution or make a motion. I don't know how everybody else feels. Is it something you wanna act on tonight, or do you wanna wait till the next meeting?
Can we act on it tonight? Should we act on it tonight?
You don't have a town clerk right now. I'd recommend you wait the meeting.
Yep.
It only has to be made a local law by the end of December, so there's plenty of time.
I mean, I'm just saying, well, is anybody's, gonna change their opinion between now and then?
I mean, yeah, exactly, and our.
I see a lot of other towns are,
To opt out, right?
I think your local law has you opting out.
Yes, our local law that's prepared has
Okay.
us opting out.
I'm just seeing that a lot of communities around us are going the next step and actually doing it.
Yeah.
I don't know why we don't just do whatever we're gonna do.
Does it matter if the clerk's not here?
No, she's just not able to file the local law.
Yeah.
That's when it will be effective, is once it's filed, and then there are 45 days from the date of the filing.
That's a roll call vote, right?
Yes, but there's 45 days after the date of the filing for petitions that can be submitted to challenge the local law.
How's everybody feel? Yeah, I don't have a problem waiting,
We can wait until Jesse's here.
okay?
So, okay.
Okay.
So we'll close the public hearing, Val?
Yes.
I need a motion to close the public hearing, or just I announce it?
You can close the public hearing.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing, and we'll make a decision on this and talk about it, at our next meeting.
Okay.
Put it on the agenda, okay? Okay, next one is the water report, and the sewer report. Performed all daily, monthly testing and duties, filed all reports to the DEC and the EPA. Jamie and Jay changed 3 pumps. They worked on the water department, they had some, work that they did at one of the pump stations that Jamie and Jay did, together. They emptied the dump truck from Goose Bay weed cutting on a regular basis. Jay ordered 20 pumps at a savings of $111 each, 8 to 10 weeks before delivery. And, they both helped Jerry at the rink with repairs as needed. That's our water and sewer report. Next one is a DPW report. Actually, that was in that report too, because they do the DPW work. Norris, do you have a zoning report?
Yes, I do. I gave out 12 permits for the month of August, making 116 year-to-date. We had 2 subdivisions, making 24 total. 1 variance is granted, making 15 variances for the month. None was denied. No site plans, no special use permits. I sent out 5 violation letters plus 1 stop work order, making 46. 1 court case, and 2 0 court cases settled. I had 2 lot lines, making 7. And also, the amount of money I took in was $1,550 for the month.
Okay. Just trying to read these text messages that some people are sending in to me. Youth program report.
So besides the annual, besides the activities of the youth program, which right now we are doing indoor soccer, there's a couple of things that wanted to bring to the board's attention. One is that Cassidy Daly, who's our coordinator, has resigned. She's given her 2-week notice, so that puts us back on the hunt for another coordinator. Depending on the interest we get, we may want to, Marilyn and I were talking about this, we may want to possibly look at structuring the position a little differently. Instead of having one coordinator work all the sports programs throughout the whole year, maybe have different people do different sports So a basketball coordinator, a soccer coordinator, a baseball, softball coordinator. This way, it might not be such a commitment, on any one person. Again, it kind of is gonna depend on the interest that we get. I have posted that on the youth, Facebook page. Wanted to ask if we wanted to, starting next week, put an ad in the TI Sun, see if we get any interest from that. We can certainly do that. But we have fall basketball right around the corner, starting mid-October, and basically right now don't have anybody to start coordinating all of that. So if you do want, an ad in the paper, just let me know. I can certainly send that off to the TI Sun for next week. The other thing that I wanted to bring up, since I wasn't here at last month's meeting, is, I wanted to keep the momentum going regarding Mike's, idea of using property here to create a field so that we don't have to, rely on the school. So if we're going to look at doing that, April 1st for next year would be our date that we would want to have that field set up by. I don't know how much space there is, and if we're looking at one field accommodating, let's say, baseball and soccer, and I don't know, I haven't done enough research and I don't have enough knowledge on it as to whether we can do multi-sport on different fields. But you know, those are the two sports, baseball, softball, and soccer, especially fall soccer. Summer soccer is not as much of an issue because school is not in session during the summer. But baseball, softball, and fall soccer is where we definitely get in a crunch, you know, and we take a back seat, obviously, to the school's needs.
Okay.
I have a problem. I talked with Stacy in depth about it. Some of the kids have nothing to do right now. The indoor soccer is for they're at the rink. But you got little kids too, and if we're having a youth program, it's for all of them. And, we need to do something with, as we've talked, with that property out back, so at least the little kids could come here or whatever.
Well, it would, it's always been, I mean, when we have a copy of the survey, and talking, you know, meeting with you guys a couple times, we're not talking about building Yankee Stadium or anything like that, needing that kind of space. You only need something about 200 by 200, and it did, you know, just basically a flat section of grass that you could stripe for whatever sport you happen to be playing, right? I think that's all you really need. You know, it's been my hope anyway, we would do that, you know, get this all leveled off, graded out, topsoil seeded this fall, so next spring it could be used.
Right.
That's always been my thought.
Yeah, I mean, that would be ideal.
Excellent.
One thing that we would probably want to take into account as, I know your budget season is coming up, budget planning is coming up soon if you're not already starting it. We should look at, if possible, increasing the operating budget for the youth program, because if we have a field now, we are going to need to invest in additional equipment for that field, such as, you know, whether it's team benches, spectator bleachers, probably additional soccer nets, you know, possibly even dugouts, you know, for team dugouts. We go to the Hatfield has dugouts. I would like to see the program kind of step it up a little bit as far as the type of equipment that we have. and making sure that every team has the right equipment, you know, the right size balls, the right size bat, et cetera, et cetera. We seem, at least for the last 2 years where I've been involved, we seem to be sort of flying on a shoestring, and it's only because of certain individuals who have decided to sponsor teams that our soccer program had a nice set of uniforms this summer. And we certainly will continue to try to get sponsors for uniforms, because it is very hard to reuse the uniforms. One of the biggest challenges that I've seen is, you know, because we did buy uniforms, I want to say this is maybe, well, it was pre-COVID, so probably 2-3 years ago. But to try to get the uniforms back from parents, and if you do get them back, what kind of condition are they in? So I really think we have to take the stance that each year we're going to be outfitting the teams and not trying to get the uniforms coming back and washed and redistributed. It just is a lot of work for, you know, it doesn't really seem to work. So I just wanted to throw that out there to the board. I think our budget this year was $22,000 or something in that neighborhood. We did not really spend a whole lot. I think partly because we were, you know, trying to get geared up again from coming off of COVID. But I would like to see the program, you know, taken to the next level as far as the way the kids look and the type of equipment that we have for the kids. Make sure they have, you know, batting, things that they can swing and practice. You know, I've seen a lot of other teams that have a lot more equipment than we do.
And Stacy's right, because by the basketball season coming up, they meet with the other towns in a league, and we're talking October 20th. So we've got to hire somebody, they've got to meet with the league people and get us in the league for the basketball. So we're kinda in a crunch right now. And Cassidy did a wonderful job.
I've got some questions for you. So whose job would it normally be to get bats and to get these sort of things?
That's the coordinator's job.
Okay, is there any reason why, if there aren't the right size bats or the right size whatever, because I'm looking at this budget and we've allotted plenty of money for you guys and you just haven't used it.
Correct.
So if the coordinator wasn't doing their job, is there any reason why somebody else isn't stepping up and helping? And I mean, because they'll get reimbursed. All they got to do is submit a bill and just say, hey, we want to do this, and you know, they got to be proactive. We can't do everything.
Right. When you say they,
So,
Sandy,
I mean, I don't know what else to say.
So when you say they, are you referring to the coordinator? Or
Coaches, you guys,
So-
whoever's involved in this. I mean, I'm not a sports person. I'll be more than happy to donate if they, you know, when Marilyn has come around, I'm more than happy to donate, but I don't know anything about this. I know you guys need money, you ask for money, we allocate money, and then it has to be, you know, whether it's the coordinator and now she's resigned. I don't know where the breakdown is. I'm not sure this is really the place to be having this discussion, but maybe, you know, as a committee or group or however you guys work, you need to come to us, you know, at another time, and we need to come up with another plan of action. Because, I mean, we have allocated, I mean, the only thing we went over budget on was the playground, you know, and we wanted a new playground for Redwood, and we had community members that asked for it, and we had 3 or 4 picked out and sent it out, you know, and had people vote on it, and we got it, and we paid for that. But I'm looking at, you know, it was budgeted, youth programs for 16,000, or personal services 16,000, CE 23,000, and they've only spent 6,600, so the money's there.
Yeah, your questions are very valid, and I think, like you said, let's take it, and have a discussion outside of this meeting, because we can certainly fill you in on what's transpired this year.
All right, sounds good.
And we do have Mike that comes to our meetings and has been there for us.
Okay. Anything else on that? Okay. Then I'll move on to the highway report. I texted, Mike about the report because he usually emails it, or I think at the last meeting, he said he was gonna attend this meeting, but I think he's concerned about COVID, he expressed, so, let me see here. He's got a man on mandatory isolation, he didn't feel comfortable coming down. He's been very busy, he didn't know there was a meeting tonight.
Okay.
How he answered me, because I asked him about, the need report. So, good on that. If he was listening, actually, he must be listening, because he said something about the people in here, so that question remains on that dock tour bill. I never got any notification, Mike, of any violation, and you wrote on the top of that bill, per violation, so if you would text me what the violation is, or what's going on, or give me a copy of that, violation report, tomorrow, that would be fine, because it says per a violation, so I figured the violation must be in writing, that I should have a copy of, and I'll leave it at that. Next item, town application is DEC for Butterfield Lake Shoreline. I've been talking to Mike about this, we went down there and met with the DEC a week ago. We've been down there a couple times talking about what to do down there, and, so they told us what we could do and what we couldn't do, and now Mike's been working on an application, and he called me yesterday to tell me that the application was, filed. This is him calling. Yeah, Mike?
Hey, and, I can't remember what you just said, but
We're looking for, we got a bill here for $3,000 some odd dollars.
I got a site from, the DEC came down and inspected our tanks.
Yep.
And they inspected a tank that was inside the building, and they gave me 30 days to, you didn't sign the paperwork, so I had to sign it, so I am responsible for what goes on in the barn. Now,
I didn't sign it, Mike, because I didn't know anything about it.
okay, that's okay.
I should have a copy of that paperwork, I should have a copy of the inspection, I should have a copy of everything, and I should be told what's going on, but.
I will get that to you.
Okay.
I had 30 days to respond,
Yep.
okay? The guy gave me 30 days, or there was a $35,000 possible fine.
Yep.
And I called my doctor, he says, I will take care of everything, Mike. And he took care of everything, and I will get you all the paperwork, and I'm really sorry. I didn't realize the board meetings, I guess.
Well, Mike Doctor obviously went in there and did the work, and he's already billed us, and we have a bill in front of us here that's been here,
Yes.
so I just, it helps if I'm in the loop on that stuff and know what's going on, so if you could bring that down tomorrow, that would be great.
And you got the bill, and I will bring down the report from the DEC. And I'm sorry, Brandon, I'm not trying to undermine anybody, but, all right, I'm sorry about that. I got a lot going on. This COVID thing is stressing me right now.
It's stressing us all out, Mike.
I know, and.
You're not the only one.
Quarantine, and. No,
Okay, we gotta move on with this meeting, I just wanted to have that answer from you if I could, okay?
Don't talk down to me, Brandon.
I'm not, I'm just saying, let's move on with the meeting, and
Come on, maybe look at it, just keep going, okay? I'm sorry.
I'm not trying to do that,
I'm a
Mike.
person.
Okay. Okay then, well, thanks for calling in, okay? Have a good night. So that's the answer on the DEC violation.
Not to beat this
Clear, I'm
to
not
death,
trying to
we're
make
gonna
it
keep
look
going,
bad, I
but
just,
I'm pretty
like
sure
he had
that-
expressed,
I'm pretty sure that the
expressed to me, how come the supervisor doesn't know about it?
I think you should be signing that stuff. I think that's probably supposed to be you, whoever the town supervisor is.
I don't necessarily agree with that. It was at the town barn, Mike
No,
was
that's
there.
not the way it works.
Whoever's there signs for it, but yes, as supervisor, it should come here and, hey, this is what's gotta be done. And I mean, he handled it, he got it fixed, whatever it was, he didn't really say, he just said something within, inside the barn, one of the tanks. So I mean, it's good, it's fixed, it's handled, but,
Is it?
well, we got a bill for it, so it should be.
We don't know.
Yeah, anyways, but we need to move this on, or we're gonna be all goddamn night.
Yeah, I agree, I
You
didn't
can
mean to
leave.
cut Mike short, but I agree, we need to move it on, we got the answer to the question. Status of the yellow house at Plessis, Norris, you talked to Bob, you talked to Norris, and you talked to me, and we have the go-ahead to tear it down and take action.
Right.
You know, and expenses for tearing it down, we put it out for bid, the expenses that the town incurs will go on the tax bill.
Yeah, I do think we just need to check with Shooky to see if the county's been paying the tax bill on it already. If they have, then,
Yep,
that's nice if they've done that.
yep.
But it's just like the Jeanette garage, you know, tear it down.
Okay. Report from the Water and Sewer Committee, and I guess that's where we're gonna lump in these ordinances, okay? So, I'll let you guys take over, you guys have been working on this for weeks and days and months.
Are you gonna introduce the ordinances?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna introduce the ordinances?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to read them? I don't care.
This won't go on.
Number 3. Bob, you got a copy?
This is number 2.
Okay. And number 1?
And this is number 1. In reverse order.
Okay.
You want me to read?
Yeah.
You want me to introduce them, or you want to?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got 3 ordinances, as anyone who's been following this. A couple years ago, the comptroller's office came down, did an audit, said that any parcels that were not receiving a service should not be getting billed quarterly. We tried to petition the state to get a ad valorem tax. It didn't go, and correct my terminology if I'm wrong, Bob. So what we are going to introduce is 3 separate ordinances for 3 different districts to allow us to bill the capital portion of the districts annually on the town tax bills. So, ordinance number 1 of September 15th, 2021 for the town of Alexandria, page number 1 of 3, an ordinance amending the Otter Street amended and restated water use ordinance. Whereas the town of Alexandria adopted a water ordinance governing the Otter Street Water District on July 11th, 1973, and whereas the Otter Street Water Ordinance was amended and restated by ordinance adopted.
Jesse wasn't able to get me that answer.
Okay.
Before she got sick.
And whereas the town board of the town of Alexandria has determined that it is in the public interest to amend each of its water district ordinances to call for a special assessment pursuant to New York Real Property Tax Law, section 101, parentheses 15, to create a charge imposed upon benefited real property in proportion to the benefit received by such property to defray the cost of each respective district's improvement or service. And whereas the state comptroller has concluded that such a special assessment must be imposed on all parcels within the district as being deemed benefited by the improvement. whether or not the parcel is utilizing the service, and whether the parcel is vacant or improved. And whereas the Otter Street Water District is composed of parcels that either are connected to the water system or are unconnected, even though those parcels are within the district and services are available. And whereas the town board acknowledges that some parcels located within the district may well be unbuildable, such a special assessment should not be imposed. Now therefore, be it ordained by the town board of the town of Alexandria hereby adopts the following amendments to the Otter Street Water Ordinance. Article 2, definitions. The following definitions are hereby added to the list of definitions contained in the ordinance as amended and restated. Annual retirement of capital cost. The amount in any given tax year determined by town board as necessary to retire the debt on the capital cost incurred in constructing the facilities of the water district. An amendment, an ordinance amending the Otter Street.
No, don't skip down. That's just the same stuff again.
Okay. Second definition, connected parcel, a parcel of real property located within the water district that is actually receiving water through district facilities. Unconnected parcel, a parcel of real property located within the water district which is developable or buildable, but is vacant or otherwise not connected to the water district facilities. Unbuildable parcel, a parcel of land located within the district upon which no structure or facility may reasonably be constructed. Article 9A, imposition of benefit assessment. Commencing on the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2022, each parcel in the district shall be assessed a benefit assessment, which benefit assessment is designed to retire the capital cost of the project, which amount shall be annually established by the town board. The benefit assessment shall be payable based upon the parcel type and related benefit as set forth in Exhibit A. Article 11, water rate. Paragraph 2 of Article 11 shall be amended to read as follows. All property connected to the district's water system shall be billed based upon its designated EDU count or as established on the table in Exhibit B, as the same may be amended from time to time by action of the town board, plus charges for water actually needed. No vacant parcel nor parcel of land not connected to the district's water system shall be billed by EDUs. And then it has the roll call vote for the members. Do I have to read the exhibits too?
Well, I think it's important at least to exhibit A down to the 4 bullet points there, in the commercial properties.
Okay.
Really not affecting anything.
Each parcel within the water district will be subject to a special assessment annually on its tax town bill in accordance with section 102, parentheses 15 of the real property tax law. This special assessment is a charge imposed upon beneficial real property to defray the cost of the improvement. Properties within the district will be broken down into the following units of benefit. Residential properties receiving water service shall be 1 unit of benefit. Properties not receiving service will be 0.5 units of benefit. Properties unable to reasonably obtain water service will be 0 units of benefit, i.e. parcels that are too small to build, swampland, etc. Commercial properties with annual usages of 150,000 gallons or more will be assigned the following benefits. And there's a long list because we've got some commercial users that use a lot of gallons. So 150 to 300,000 gallons is 3 units, 300 to 500,000 is 5 units, 500 to 700,000 is 7 units, 700 to 900,000 is 10, 9 to 1.1 million is 12, 1.1 to 1.3 is 14, 1.3 to 1.5 is 16, 1.5 to 1.7 is 18, 1.7 to 1.9 is 20, 1.9 to 2.1 million gallons is 22, 2.1 to 2.3 is 24, 2.3 million to 2.5 million gallons is 26. The benefit assessment of a particular parcel in any given year will be calculated by dividing that year's annual debt using the retirement schedule from the previous August 31st and dividing that number by the total units of benefit and then multiplying the debt per benefit by that parcel's number of units of benefit. Example, annual debt retirement divided by total units of retirement times unit of benefit equals benefit assessment. And then for the EDUs, it has single family is 1, duplex or multifamily residential partial is 1 for each living unit, commercial big M is 8, commercial gas stations 1.5, marinas, aquamania 1.5, marinas and repairs 1, newspaper and printing 1, warehouse 1, vacant parcels 0.5. That vacant parcel, I think, should come off of
Yeah,
there.
that can't be there.
That's not gonna be there, but. Any questions?
Well, okay, just a little explanation as well. The town has 5 water districts. 2 of them, Carnegie Bay and Edgewood, have no debt, no capital at all. So that's why there's only 3 of these, for Otter Street, Redwood, and Route 12. Because this change only applies to the capital portion of your water bill. So just a little explanation there.
Okay,
I think all the other ones are basically the same thing, right?
Ordinance 2 is basically exactly the same, except it is for the Redwood Water District.
Yep.
If you want me to read the whole thing, I can, but it is the same. Ordinance number 3 is for the Route 12 Water District ordinance. Do I need to read each one, Bob?
No, I think, they all basically say the same thing.
Yep.
The purpose is to take the capital cost out of the EDU charges that are currently being billed.
Correct.
And to spread those among all parcels in the district, whether they're connected or not.
A further explanation is, for all of us that get a water bill, your bill is actual usage, if there's capital, which they all have capital costs, and O&M. There's another charge that we'll talk about later on, but those 3 things are on there. What this will do, and water bills is quarterly, but what this will do, the capital portion of your bill, instead of showing up in your quarterly bill, will end up on your taxes on an annual basis. That's what this does.
So it takes that cost and spread it over a wider base.
Right.
Okay, and then ultimately it should reduce your actual quarterly water bill, because you're not paying a capital charge into water.
Yeah, that's what Bob's saying. Currently, what we do, and we got pointed out by the comptroller's office, we cannot do it, is by EDU, which we can't use that anymore for capital, is for annual anyways, is we've been billing vacant properties, but you can't do that on a quarterly basis, but you can bill it on an annual basis, but you can't use EDUs. So we came up a different method that Sandy just went through of determining what that benefit assessment unit, I think that's the phrase we're using now, right?
Right, what the comptroller specifically said was you cannot bill vacant parcels or unconnected parcels by EDU, which would impose O&M charges and everything, because they're not using O&M charges.
Right.
So instead, they require us to split out the bill to build a beneficial assessment or the benefit assessment by tax bill, and then only those properties that are connected will be charged O&M and usage.
Right.
It's basically what these 3 ordinances do.
So the comptroller said that we couldn't bill the people that were not connected, and they also said we couldn't bill them on a quarterly basis, so through that system, right? Through the EDU.
Well, yeah, but it's saying the same thing, because we were sending those bills quarterly.
So what they're doing is correcting the system of the billing. And this billing had been in place in, what's the oldest district, Redwood, which was 2005 or 6, I believe. And then there was,
Outer Street 73.
yeah, so we've got districts in all kinds of years they were created, and they were, in the formation, the building systems were put together this way, and we were told that it was wrong and we couldn't do it, so they've been working for months on correcting it, and this is the final draft.
For water, we don't get sued.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, of the water.
But I'd like to just make a caveat to this. This has been, it's not just Alexandria. This is almost all districts around here built this old way.
The whole state is.
That's the way most towns do it, is the way we've been doing it. But between a lawsuit that we took action on the very first meeting that I got sworn in here, between the lawsuit that said, you know, no, you shouldn't be billing me like this, you know, we had to refund a bunch of money and say, okay, and then the comptrollers got involved, and their judgment was, you need to find another way to bill. So we've worked very hard at finding another way to bill. I have, based off of what our budget for 2020 is, and there's not many people here, I don't know if you want the numbers. Do you want me to give the total numbers of how this works out to be for the different districts?
I'd say that we're gonna introduce these local laws, and they're
They're ordinances, and they're gonna be subject to a public hearing, so I think that's the time to raise all that.
To bring all that,
That's what I
okay,
was gonna say.
okay.
Yeah, but I mean, this group has been meeting for over a year,
Well,
once a week.
it's, you know, there's like 3 or 4 pages for each one of these things. This has taken a lot of effort to get to this point.
Yeah.
So what you need to do procedurally is to introduce each of the ordinances and schedule and call for a public hearing. I think we said it was the 29th. Yep. So if they're introduced and seconded, then we'll get them posted in the water, each one individually in the Watertown Times. No, that's the timeline requires us to have like next day service, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
So I'll introduce the local law number 1.
Resolution number 1.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, it's an ordinance, not a law.
ordinance, yeah.
Introduce ordinance number 1, and I need to have a second, and a second by Sandy, and now we need to schedule a public hearing
Yeah,
for September 29th
pick a time, yep.
at 6 o'clock.
Yeah, I think you should do it 15 minutes apart, probably.
Okay. At 6 o'clock for, ordinance number 1.
Which will be Outer Street, which is Outer Street.
Then I'll move to ordinance number 2. Then I'll, introduce ordinance number 2, and we need a second for that. Second by Mike, and we'll schedule that public hearing for September 29th at 6:15. And then the last one is ordinance number 3, I'll introduce that, I need a second. Second by Sandy, and we'll schedule that public hearing for the 29th of September at 6:30. We all done with that process?
I didn't catch, you introduced all of them, right?
Yeah.
Who introduced number 1, or who seconded number 1?
Sandy did the first one, Mike did the second, and Sandy did the third.
All right. Then you gotta call a vote on your scheduling of the public hearings.
On each one of them individually.
No, I don't think so.
So I'd like to I need to have a vote on scheduling the public hearings at 6:15, and 6:30 on the 29th.
I'll make the motion that we schedule the hearings for September 29th at 6, 6:15, and 6:30.
Motion by Sandy, second by Mike, any discussion?
No.
Good there?
You're all set?
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, all those opposed, none. Okay, so move on to the next one. Streetscape project status. If everybody saw the TI Sun last Wednesday, it came out, the Streetscape project is out for bid. The public advertisement was in the Thousand Island Sun last week, and there's a time period there I'm not sure what the due date is, I'll have to look, but we'll keep you posted as to what's going on with that, but that project is coming to fruition, it's out for bid, and I think we're probably all hoping for, possibly starting the project, no later than the spring next year. That's the status on that. Presentation of the financial statements on page number 12. Everybody's got the latest August 31st financial statement in front of them, and I'm just gonna read the highlights from the statement. Monthly financial statements were completed by Nicole and reviewed August 31st. Unaudited financial statements are posted to the town's website. Today they were, townwide revenues totaled $34,000, while expenses totaled $522,000. Significant revenues in August were $19,000 of the refuse garbage fees. Significant expenses were $155,000 of general fund, mostly salaries and benefits. 52% of our August expenses related to the following: debt service payments of 2011 serial bonds, including $40,000 of principal, $7,500 of interest, $20,000 to the Alex Bay Chamber of Commerce for advertising and marketing, $12,000 at Environmental Design and Research, professional services on the Streetscape project, which are within our grant, $283,000 of highway expenditures. Of that, $228,661 is CHIPS permanent improvements to roadways, $179,000 to Suit Coat Corporation for road paving, $42,000 to number 6 road dirt paving and FMI sand and gravel. $22,608 of capital expenditures, $22,000 of weed harvesting, Mud Lake Goose Bay, that is within the grant that we have. $43,252,000 of water district expenditures. $36,785 to the Village of Alex Bay for water purchases as compared to last year. Last year was $32,520. Bonacdia Group has completed their financial statement audit of the town for 2019 after providing further information back in early July. No further information has been deemed necessary from the auditors to complete their testing. Finalization of the 2019 audit and performance is dependent on ongoing litigation. That's basically all the highlights we have. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I'm just curious, how much total CHIPS money did we get?
It's in the budget there. I want to say it was,
Is this all of it? I'm just curious, is this all of it?
I'm not sure, it should be in your financials.
Okay.
$370,031, according to the expenditures in that budget. Any other questions?
There was a conference call August 2nd?
I'm sorry?
There was a conference call August 2nd on the lawsuit?
Yes.
Yeah, you were there.
No, I was there, not August, okay, that was one when we said 4 weeks, okay, gotcha. You were there, yeah. I was a month off.
Yep. Okay, so we'll move on. Nicole's been working on the re-levies. The deadline is October 20th, not 28th. That's a misprint. And she sent the letters out to the customers that will be re-levied. Most likely, a lot of these customers come and pay their bill before the deadline date, so they don't get re-levied on their taxes. Budget transfers, item number 14. General A, revenue sharing per capita, credit $14,765. Revenue sharing per capita, debit $14,765. To reclassify the revenue sharing per New York State Office of the State Comptroller was the reason. Again, General A, docs, personal services, $100, docs, contractual expenses, $1,000, those are both debits. Contingency is credited, $1,100. That's to cover the expenses of the docks. Brush pit, personal services debited $200. Refuse and garbage personal services credited $200 to cover the brush pit, personal services. General B, public health contractual, $100 debit. Youth cans distribution, $6,015 debit. Zoning contractual, $500 debit. Board of Health personal services, $600 credit. Cans and bottles redemption, $6,015 credit to cover general B expenses within its own fund. That number is so high for the used cans distribution because when we changed the people that collected our cans, they lumped 3 months together at the end of 2020, and we got the money in 2021. That's why that figure's so high. Redwood Sewer Administration contractual expenses, $200 debit. Contractual expenses, SS, $200 credit. To cover the Redwood Sewer expenses within its own fund. Any questions?
So that can distribution went from October of last year until now?
No, it went from, this is in 2021, so it went from October of last year to, I'm gonna say December of last year, and we got the check from the person who picks the cans and bottles up from us in 2021.
Okay, do we know how, did it get distributed to the youth organizations yet?
Yeah,
I'm sorry?
I think we did that last month. I seem to recall we did that last month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
I missed that.
Any other questions?
Nope,
Need a motion to approve the budget transfers?
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Sandy, second by John. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? None. Pass that down for everybody to sign. National Grid proposal for updated arena lighting. Number 15. Well, there's a list on that first page of all the lights in the arena that they are proposing to replace. The real numbers are on the second page. The job cost is $5,521. That's pay the prevailing wage, and there's some charges in there. The estimated customer contribution, which is the town of Alexandria, of the $5,521, the town of Alexandria has to pay $2,941, and National Grid contribution is $2,580. You can see the estimated annual savings in dollars is $3,261. So this is, we've done some of these before in other buildings and other places. This is another one of these upgrade, update the lights to LED with savings, obviously at $3,200 a year. So we got to spend $2,941 to save $3,261 a year, year after year.
I'll make the motion, we go ahead and do the energy update with National Grid for the ice arena.
What's that?
I said, I'll make a motion that we do, that's what we're looking for, right? To go ahead and do the, energy savings plan that National Grid
Motion by
suggested.
Sandy,
No, second that.
second by John. Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, none.
So, it's just, you gotta sign, you, the town supervisor, sign off on this participation plan,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yep, okay.
Yeah. That gives me permission to sign it. New Village of Alexandria water rates, I'm not sure, I thought there might be a board member here to tell us if they changed the effective date at last night's meeting, and that was what I was looking for, and I don't have the answer to that. Shucky wasn't able to attend the meeting. He was the one that I had talked to along with Mary Jarvis, about changing the effective date. So I'll find out, if they did do that at last night's meeting and get back to everybody. Okay, the fire protection agreement, that's something that I've been working with Bob Sly on, I think everybody saw the stuff that I forwarded you, which was Bob's response, and he's got some, updates that he'd like to see us do, and he's gonna work on that and put that together, and we'll deal with that at the next meeting.
Sure.
Okay? Tax cap. Local law number what?
Local law number 3 of 2021.
The local law overriding the tax levy, limited established by New York General Municipal Law 3-C for fiscal year 2022. The local law to override a tax levy limits established by New York General Municipal Law, whereas the town board of the town of Alexandria desires to override the limit on the amount of real property taxes that may be levied by the town of Alexandria pursuant to the General Municipal Law 3-C, and to allow the town of Alexandria to adopt a budget for the fiscal year beginning January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022, that requires a real property tax levy in excess of the tax levy limit as defined by General Municipal Law 3-C. Where such override is authorized by provisions of subdivision 5 of the General Municipal Law 3-C, which expressly authorizes the town board to override the tax limit by adoption of the local law approved by a vote of at least 60% of the town board. Whereas a public hearing on this was held, so we're gonna introduce this local law tonight, and we're gonna schedule a public hearing and advertise it as required by law. And the public hearing for this is gonna be at the October meeting.
The regular meeting in October.
And we'll go from there.
October 20th, it's October 20th. October 20th would be the date.
Okay, so this is something that we do every year. It's a preventive measure in the event that, we override the tax cap. I don't know, as long as I've been here, we haven't actually overridden the tax cap, but we have passed this every year as a preventive measure. Anybody have any questions? Okay.
Who introduced it? Has it been introduced yet?
No.
Sorry.
So that was what I was reading. I was introducing it, so I'll be the one who introduced it. I don't know, I need a second? Second by Mike. And we scheduled the public hearing for October 20th at 6 o'clock.
Well, don't we, like all these, water district ones, isn't that next? You have to fit it in with them.
No, the water districts are September 29th.
Oh, okay.
And they're on September 29th because there's a time, contingency there that we have to make sure there's not a time contingency with this one, that we have to rush this. We can do this at our regular October meeting, right, Bob?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure we didn't
Do it once?
have too many of them all piled up on the top of each other.
So we've introduced it, and we've scheduled the public hearing, and that's all we have to do for right now, isn't it?
Correct.
No roll call vote now. It's after.
Right.
Yep. Okay. Recommendations for the transfer site is, I had a lady come in and see me, and she's very, educated on transfer sites and waste and garbage. I'm just gonna read her, email. She talked to me today for a while, about quite a few different things at the transfer site, and I asked her to put it in writing. As I mentioned during COVID, just like grocery stores and garbage are a necessity. I live in Windhall, Vermont, and have trained real well to do the following. Compost, buy garbage bags in bulk, only used by the dump and sold at the dump. Take or bring things to what we call a Windhall market. Provide opportunity, what you don't want and somebody might want. How did I get there? First, it's law in Vermont, no food scrapes in garbage bags. They have containers and dumpsters, making it easy to dispose of. Buying garbage bags is a no-brainer. I would rather do compost able type offered by dumps and grocery stores because it's in bulk. Plenty exchange is not often. The market has been wonderful. We all feel guilty throwing unnecessary things away. Instead of making two trips, one the thrift and one on the dump, you just go to the dump and drop off. Somebody else may need, and as I mentioned, the dump is a popular place. I feel composting at home leads to cleaner garbage for the next to handle. It keeps me from smelling in the house, it keeps fruit flies out of the garbage. It keeps from leaking, and you can feel great about asking friends to get rid of your garbage. Bags, while you're already thinking about it, they mark at the dump, everybody likes to shop, no money exchange, just take what you need. Just a few ideas for tonight's meeting. And this is Diane Kingsley, who came to see me, who's been dealing with this in Vermont. They've made it into law in Vermont. I told her that, you know, New York State and Jefferson County are working on a few different things. They're working on single stream recycling, and they're also working on a garbage bag requirement for the transfer sites being all clear. And I said that we've been going over this process and everything that we do for well over a year, trying to decide what we're gonna do. And I think that we've had some more recent talks about this, that we're talking about implementing what we decided to do after first of the year, I think was our general consensus. Anybody have any comments or things to say?
I like the idea of it. For us, at the current time, it would be space up there. You know, as far as the items that could be reused that someone may like, 'cause where would you put it? We don't have the space. So, I mean, I think it would.
And what if it turns out to be just plain junk?
Yeah. But I mean, definitely the composting thing is an awesome idea, and more people should do it. It would definitely help in the summer up there with all the bad smells and the flies and everything else. Some great ideas. It's just a matter of how do you implement and make it happen.
Yep. Well, some of the things that she talked to me about, this morning, we've already implemented, and I told her some of the things that she has in the letter that we've definitely talked about, spent a lot of time talking about, and that we're trying to figure out, what we're doing, you know, and, we all know that we've been working on the employee situation up there. She was concerned that we had 2 employees, and I told her what the business is that the transfer site does on weekends, and that we need 2 employees at those times, and that the other times we have another employee is training, because Byron is gonna retire. We don't know exactly when Byron's gonna retire, but it could be this year or it could be next year, so. And as everybody knows, every year, we have a problem when we get to fall, and Byron's got a ton of vacation time piled up, and we don't have anybody to cover for him so he can take his vacation time. So that's kind of the other reason that we have this floater person that is working for us now. Okay, I met with, Mike Tibbles, and a gentleman from the Butterfield Lake area. He would like to buy a piece of land at the head of Butterfield Lake, a small chunk of land that the town owns, a large piece of land down there. And he would like to buy a small piece of that land to put a dock on. And I explained to him that this is only my opinion personally, but I don't think the town is in the interest or market for selling that land. When I told you earlier on the agenda that we have a DEC permit now that Mike has filed to clean up that shoreline and make it usable, a little bit more usable than it is, this is the same land, okay? I just wanted to bring it to the board because, I met with him and Mike met with him, and I wanna be able to give him an answer besides just what my thoughts were.
Is he the adjoining property owner?
No.
No. That kind of makes it a little bit messy, but.
No, he lives a couple hundred yards
You
away.
can't just sell land, can we?
But his property.
We have to put out bids, don't we?
Well, that's the whole next step, is if we're gonna sell a piece of land, we have to do what we just went through.
I'm not so sure you can sell waterfront property.
Yeah.
Well,
Seriously, I know cities cannot, so I'd have to check and see whether it's.
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not saying about this, this property, I'm fairly certain, first off, it appears to be a boat ramp there. And that was in place before the DEC did what they did. and now everybody uses the DEC boat ramp instead of this spot. So I'm not saying to sell or anything like that, but it's kind of one of those pieces of property, why does the town still even have it, you know?
Why does the town still have it?
Yeah, what do we do with it?
We've applied for a permit, and we're gonna clean it up, make it look nicer, be healthier. There's an area there that's a bunch of reeds. We're gonna do what the DEC tells us we can do, and we're gonna put an area in next to it that basically is lake access for kayaks, walking, ice fishing, snowmobiles and four-wheelers.
Okay, so I'm
Not
just
gonna be a
asking,
boat ramp.
so that's what we're gonna do with it, so we don't have any interest in selling any piece of it to anybody.
Correct.
But I'm just asking, what are we gonna do with it? So you just told me, so that's what we're gonna do with it, so there we go, that's the end of it.
If we sell it, somebody else will control it, and they're gonna shut off the snowmobiles, right, everything else.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and just for example, we used a corner of that piece of land to put a sewer pod in that
Yeah,
serviced that now is servicing 3 different houses because we put
I'm just saying that-
remember, we put a special sewer pod in to do that.
Yeah, I know, I asked the question, like a rhetorical question, you answer, so that's the answer for these folks.
Yeah.
Is that no portion of it is available to be sold.
Yeah.
There you go.
There you
That's the
go.
end of it.
Everybody in agreement on that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Arena opening date. Talked with Jerry, we've been going back and forth on this. He's gonna start making ice on Monday, October 4th. So the arena opening date will be when the ice is ready and everything is good to go, which we're planning on the week of the 11th, and it may be the middle of that week, or it may be the end of that week. It all depends on how the firing up of everything goes, and as everybody remembers, last year, we set an opening date, we gave ourselves a little bit of leeway, and we were 2 weeks off because we came upon a repair that needed to be done.
Okay, let's get it on.
So that's just so that everybody knows and the public knows that we're planning on having ice the week of October 11th, and we're not sure what day that's gonna be, but I guess if I had to estimate, I'd say middle to the end of the week. So, Davis Mechanical's been down there, they're repairing everything that needs to be repaired and replacing some items, and taking care of the problems and issues that we had there.
Okay.
Schedule adjourned meeting and workshop, not gonna do a adjourned meeting, but I'd just like to schedule the workshops. We're doing the workshops every Thursday and Friday from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock until we get the budget done. So that will go till the 30th of, wrong month. Yeah, that'll go till, the 30th and the 1st of September. So that's this week, next week, and the following week. Every Thursday and Friday, from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock at the town office. Budget workshops, yeah. Okay, this next one is what I talked about earlier. He has that budget workshop he's doing in Port Leyden on October 5th. I think I had told him the week of the 11th. And I said that I would talk to the board at our workshop this week. But what does everybody's schedule look like for October 11th through 15th? Is it a holiday on Monday? It is, Columbus Day?
Sure.
Yes, Columbus Day
Right.
is.
So that takes Monday out of it. I'm just looking at my schedule. Town board meeting is the 20th, as you said earlier, so. Any special days, Sandy, you don't like Wednesdays, right?
I'm not golfing anymore,
It
so.
doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter.
I think we should check with Ronnie, because Ronnie especially has some very good questions from Mr. Petrie that we actually talked about today, and that's the inside and the outside rates. So let's check with Ronnie, and then we can get back to Mr. Petrie, but his schedule is flexible that week.
Okay. Is this gonna cost us anything?
Is this what?
You mentioned that Mr. Petrie is now a consultant.
Yes.
Is this gonna cost us anything?
Oh, yeah, it's per hour.
And what is that?
He's $50 an hour.
Okay, I don't know, I just,
Yeah, and I don't think any of you have met, we've met with him.
I've met him before.
And John, you know the name, you know he was, so he's a very valuable, knowledgeable person. He doesn't want anything that he's doing associated with his past job, which I made sure that I wouldn't associate with that or even say that, but he's just, in this stuff that we're doing, governmental town issues and budgets, I mean, when we had Mr. Dajnaw come and help us for the last 2 years, we had some questions that he couldn't answer. Well, he went to Mr. Petrie to get his answers.
I know when they used to have except for COVID, they had the thing down at JCC.
Yeah.
And he was there for that, and Ronnie and I would sit in, and that's when he talked about the inside-outside business there,
So we'll talk with Ronnie and find out what day works best for him and schedule something that week. And I figure we're probably gonna need him for, let's say, 4 hours. Or give or take. Okay? The next one's 25 and 26, which are the two things for the court. 25. The Alexandria Town Court Justices are requesting permission to apply for a 2021-2022 JCAP grant. We need a resolution to authorize the town court to apply for the JCAP grant. Grant cycle up to $30,000. That is 25. They did this before, and they got the grant, and they bought equipment and made improvements and files and so on and so forth. So I need a resolution, a motion to pass a resolution to allow them to apply for this grant.
Yep, I'll make that.
Motion by Mike.
I'll second that.
Second by John. Any further discussion?
Do we need a resolution, or do we just need a motion for them to do it?
They're kind of interchangeable.
Okay, all right.
Well,
Looks like they want you to sign off.
yeah, see like a roll call vote, looks like them.
They want you each to sign it, looks like to me.
Yep.
Okay,
So do we have to do a roll call vote? No.
okay.
Sign it.
So we've got a motion on the floor, with a first and a second, and any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye, authorizing me to sign this resolution. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? The second one is New York State Local Retirement Standard Working Day Report for George Schaefer. I believe that he had submitted one and they had sent it back and needed some corrections, and I believe these are the corrections.
I don't understand, I know why Dave Corey doesn't, because he's in the retirement system. This appears to show his standard, George's standard workday is gonna be 6 hours. He's not here 6 hours. I don't, he might be here being a judge 6 hours a month, right? But not 6 hours a day. Right?
Yeah, I'm just looking at the end column, it says pay frequency month.
I know, that he gets paid once a month, as do we all.
So does that mean?
But this says his standard workday is 6 hours.
A month that that's saying, or is that?
I mean, when you look at the reverse, so the definition of record of activities result, he's got it filled out as 38.75, I'm not quite sure what that means.
I don't either. Cause I moved to the state retirement system, and it was a full-time job, so it was, I would say, 8 hours, and I was there 8 hours.
Nicole told me to call her if I had a question, or if we had questions about this. I had a feeling we might have questions. Nicole, it's Brent, you're on speakerphone at the town board meeting, and we don't understand this New York State Local Retirement System report. It says standard workday is 6 hours, record of activities results 38.75.
That's how many hours he had in his 3 months?
38.75 is how many hours he had in 3 months,
Yeah.
and the standard workday is 6, what, can you explain that?
6 hours a day.
So, he's reporting that he works 6 hours a day?
No, that's just what the retirement system uses. He either works 6 hours a day or 8 hours a day.
So you can only work one of those two, that's,
Yeah, it's either 6 or 8. And those types are usually 6.
okay, so if you take the 3 months, which is 90 days, and you divide it by the hours, you figure out how many,
How come that says?
I don't get it.
38.25.
This makes no sense at all.
0.75,
Divide it by 3.
yeah. Somebody doing this on their phone? I got her on the phone. What do you
Dividing
divide?
it by 3 is
13?
approximately 12.
About 13, yeah.
So it's saying he's working 2 days a month during that time period. But why did it say term end 12/23?
Yes, what he would have in a month. Then you divide it by 6.
So,
Right.
give the last day of the year.
So about 2 days, a little over 2 days a month.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he said 2.12.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be 4 years.
Any other questions?
Yeah.
Her on the phone? Okay, thank you, Nicole.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Sorry about it.
Yeah, bye.
So, we need if everybody's okay with that, we need a motion to allow me to sign this.
I still don't understand what these numbers are.
Well, she explained that what it means is he works 2.12 days a month, okay? And New York State unemployment only allows you to report 6 hours or 8 hours. If he only worked 2 hours, you can't put 2 hours in there. According to not unemployment, but retirement, you have to put 6 or 8 in there.
So, I don't know, it's kind of bizarre.
Nicole's the expert on this, and she works with them, with the retirement system quite
Okay, but-
frequently, so if she's
I know, I'm just
okay
saying,
with
okay,
it, then.
so she said-
What looks funny to me is the duration, the 120 to 12/23, that looks like it's for 12 months, and she said it was a 3-month period. 3-month period saying he worked 38.75 hours, that makes sense. That makes sense, because he normally works twice a month.
I think this is a term of office.
Yeah, it's a term of office.
Oh, okay, so now that makes sense.
But
That makes sense.
Okay, question again
She said
here.
6 or 8?
The current term begin and end.
Look at the back.
8,
6 and a quarter,
120 to
7.
12/23, it looks like
Numbers.
it's for a year.
No, it's
That's just
January
examples.
2020 to December 2020.
Standard work days.
Term of office.
Oh, 4 years. Yeah, so this is
Why
a
are they
report
different?
for 4 years.
Right.
And he's saying he works 38.75 hours for 3 months.
Right.
And we divided that out, and if he only works 2 hours a day, he can't put 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day. The state retirement only allows you to put
Obviously,
6
these
or 8.
have different numbers than what she just got to say. I think she doesn't know what
Well, what he does is they have to do a 3-month calendar.
Yeah,
And then it's divided by 3 to get the per month hours. And that's divided by a 6-hour day. And that's where you come up with the 2 point, I think it's 1.2,
2.12.
yeah.
Where
I don't have
are
the
you doing this?
calculator right here in front of me, but if I remember correctly, that's what it's at right now.
So you've looked at this report, are you okay with this report?
Yes,
No, just, before you hang up on her, the standard workday, what would you say they are?
yes.
What are they?
What is the standard workday he's asking?
It's either 6 or 8.
Okay, if you look in the back, there's a 7, there's a 6.25, or an 8. So those are different numbers.
We used whatever the judges have used before, and they're always usually at 6, standard workday of 6.
Okay.
If you guys aren't comfortable with that, we can do some more research on that, explain it out to you. It can wait another month, I suppose.
I don't understand the explanation, and I don't get it.
I mean, you've been dealing with this unemployment, I know you spent a lot of time on the phone with them, going over the reports and doing everything.
Right.
I'm very willing to rely on if you're fine with this report, because isn't this an amended report? Wasn't there one before that they asked to be amended, and this is an amended report, is that correct?
Yes, and we have a letter that goes with that resolution that you have to fill out. That the state retirement told me what his hours were, what his standard workday is, and what I'm supposed to report from now on, until he fills out another 3-month report. But it can stay up to this amount for 8 years.
Okay.
And I will show you that tomorrow, and I will show that to Mike.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, thanks, Nicole, sorry about it.
That's all right.
If you look at F on the back for the standard workday definition, it says the minimum number of hours that can be established for a standard workday is 6, while the maximum is 8. A standard workday is the denominator to be used for the days worked calculation. It is not necessarily always the number of hours a person works. For example, if a board member only attends 1 3-hour board meeting per month, you will still establish a standard workday between 6 and 8 hours as the denominator for their record of activities calculation. So that's why it's a 6.
Okay, all right.
There you go, right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Motion?
I'll make a motion that we sign it.
Sandy, to approve this, report, RS 2417-A, second?
Okay.
Second by Mike.
I just wanted to,
Any further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye? Aye. All those opposed? None. Did I forget anything else on here?
You wanna discuss this or not?
No.
Okay.
So we need a motion to go into to adjourn, and to go into
You're
executive.
gonna adjourn till you're done with your executive session.
So we need a motion to go into executive session.
Yes, because you'll come out of executive session and then adjourn the meeting.
Yep, okay. Executive session for contract negotiations. Need a motion? By Sandy, second by Mike, any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you.
Is that the right time? Really, 7:30? Wow, that's really good for us.
Turn off your,
I already turned this stuff off.
but were you here for just other, for a reason? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk?
No, I just wanted to observe.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I didn't know if you had something
No,
that you were uncomfortable with.
no.
Okay. No, I mean to stand up and
That's
say.
refreshing, Mike.
I know, I'm just curious. I mean, I see somebody I've never seen here before.
We like visitors.
Concerned taxpayer.
Okay, no, good.
We hear about things.
We like
Good.
visitors, we just don't get them very often.
Yeah, good.
Please come to the special meeting, and that's one thing I wanted to say to her was, please talk to people about these water bills, because it is gonna be a major change. And
Yeah.
I really hope we get a lot of participation. I do.
I do have a question about that. You said the other 2 water districts don't have capital.
Right.
Correct.
They'll never have capital, ever? Why not finish putting the ordinances in case